record this. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the call. Today, we're going to talk about a lot of things. Planned is lesson 5, thinking into results, which is the backbone of the whole program. It's the trick to staying in charge no matter the circumstances. Okay, so let's start with the questions. Adam sent a question in. He said, I am doing the Serenity chapter. Wait, let me just mute everyone. Can you please mute yourselves? Okay. I am doing the Serenity chapter for 90 days, and after about day 5 or 6, I felt an energy which caused me to personalize and change the text to present tense, as well as leaving out some of the negative parts, like when he writes about how humanity surges with uncontrolled passion. I do not want this view of humanity to be part of my paradigm. In general, is it okay to rewrite these for my purposes? My feelings instantly said an absolute yes, and I should not even ask since I know the answer. However, a better clarification and understanding is what I look for regarding my question. Well, definitely yes. I don't know if you've seen me change lots of text. As for the Serenity chapter, I did it as well. I changed the he to I so that it's more personalized. And what else did I do to that text? Yeah, there were some things, there was a whole paragraph that I just left out. So definitely yes, because you get to choose what you want your paradigms to be. And generally, even with Napoleon Hill stuff, the self-confidence formula. Wait, guys, can you please mute yourselves? Let me check. Let me check. I don't know if there's a way to, if you guys know about it, to mute everybody at the beginning when they come in, so that I don't have to always remind. Anyway, tell me later if you know. Okay, so about the Serenity chapter and changing it. Oh yeah, and Napoleon Hill, I changed even the self-confidence formula because there were so many words in there. I didn't even know what they were, and they were negative. And not knowing what they weren't part of my paradigm. I didn't want to put them into my paradigm. And as we know, whatever we focus upon grows. So even though he says like not this, we're still focused on this, right? Like yesterday, it's so funny because Natalie and Carl, as many of you know, have different fan clubs when it comes to football, soccer. And Natalie was saying, Alisa, you love BVB. That's hers, right? And Carl was saying, no, Alisa, you hate BVB. And I go like, Carl, she will never know about Schalke if you say BVB. So that's how it goes. And the energy today is quite different and evolved from the way it was when those books were written. So even, for example, in The Science of Getting Rich, chapter 7 about gratitude is actually outdated. It has to be appreciation, because gratitude, the frequency of gratitude is different from appreciation, because gratitude, as Abraham would say, it still reminds you of what you overcome. So it's still not pure, whereas appreciation is. Okay, I hope this answers your question, Adam. I have to talk a little bit fast today because we have a lot to cover. Okay, so Joanne, you asked best ways to push through the terror barrier. Okay, so Bob's way of living life is having terror barriers. In fact, at the higher levels of what he's teaching, he teaches to create terror barriers to grow faster and more. Now, the best way to push through the terror barrier, the way he teaches it, is just to do it. Whatever it is that you do it, just, burn the bridges behind you and just jump. I wasn't able to watch the live stream properly, but I'm pretty sure the story came up of Sandy where she was saying, Bob just said, what are you doing? You're having this law practice and you want to work with us, and, just jump, and you'll develop wings along the way. So that's how to push through the terror barrier. Just do it. So feel the fear and do it anyway. Again, I emphasize this is Bob's way. Abraham's way is a different one. Okay. AC's question, how do subliminal affirmations work? She sent us a message on WhatsApp about doing the subliminal audio, and AC, I listened into it, and Kevin says that the subliminal stuff, as pictures, for example, when you're at your laptop and you're watching something, and there was even a case with Britney Spears, one of her audios, MTV videos, where they put in three brands, and they put in subliminal pictures, and then after that video came out, the sales skyrocketed for these three brands. So that's why they're not allowed to be done anymore, these subliminal pictures, because they work so well. But Kevin Trudeau, I don't know if you've heard of him, he's a billionaire. He says that the subliminal audios, where you do not hear the actual words, do not work. It's only with pictures. So, but whatever it is that you believe, becomes a reality for you. You said in the message that it seems to be working for you, but the only reason that will be working for you is because you believe that something's changing and you're allowing it more because of the belief you have that it's already changing for you. And also, so I was listening to it. It's actually it's like you're getting to a meditative state. And as Abraham would say, you allow the cork to float. And as you allow yourself to release the resistance, that's when things come into your life. So it's like a meditation. Okay, so Mariam's question. When you start getting results for the things you've been asking for, do you still continue to ask those? Lesson 5 says, think of new ideas and don't just stick to the same ones. If I want to start creating other things, he says to have just 2 on the go or more, not too many on the go. Do I continue with those even though I'm going to ask for further things? Well, Mariam, when you have found something that you really, really love, you usually stick to it. So it's not necessarily about creating a lot of more new things. It's about getting bigger when it makes sense. I mean, like somebody who runs fast wants to run faster. Just like we had last week with Stefan saying, I've done a marathon. That's an A-type goal now. My B-type goal is to do it under 4 hours. And my C-type goal is to, he said the exact amount of minutes and seconds and hours that he wanted to run it for. So it's mostly about thinking bigger. It's not necessarily about doing something else. And this is also for AC, just to make sure, because you were talking about, AC was talking about having 5 multiple sources of income. It's not necessarily about the amount of it, because we have to make sure that we're not having another job. A source of income, making it multiple, is doing something for a while and then making it work for you instead of you working it the whole time. So it's never creating time for money. Writing a book is one, or writing a song is one. It's unbelievable how up to today Michael Jackson is being paid for the music he has created, even though it doesn't live anymore. So or Mariah Carey with All I Want for Christmas. That's a good example too. Yeah, let me check. There is another question. Angelique, are you on? Because yes, I thought it's, okay, good. Instead of reading this out, I thought maybe you can recap it, condense it and ask me.
I remember that you were saying, when you visualize, you don't force it. You basically you relax, and then you allow the images to come to you.
Mm-hmm. And wait, let me tell you first why I do that.
Yeah.
Well, because sometimes we think we know what we want, but it's not really what we want. And especially if you've been wanting something for so long and it hasn't manifested, I would check if that's really what you want, or if that's your paradigm telling you that that's what you want. Because usually what we really want, we really get. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I don't force images, or this is what I want, is exactly, because the wants come from source. Source is a bigger picture. Now we have the ability to say yes to it or no. We have that freedom to do that. So if there's a desire that we feel in our hearts that we want, and that's exactly what I want to do. I want to allow myself to become aware of what it is that my heart really wants. Because, for example, like Kevin tells us in one of the CDs. She says that I want to sell my house. Really? Is it really about selling your house? No, you want to have the money. So is it really selling the house? No, that's the way you think you can get the money to buy another house that you would rather like. Or for example, he's talking about, I want this person to invest in my company. Do you really want that person to invest into your company? No, you want investment in your company. Is it really investment in your company? No, you just want to feel that you've succeeded in something that, that you're creative. And so there is always something deeper in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to tell you the reason first. Okay, go on with your question.
Yeah. So for instance, with like, certain things we have to do because, we run a business, or we basically it's part of our financial goals.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very much, this is what has to happen.
Mm-hmm.
We can't determine the time, but, if we, so I now believe that if we don't have a clear picture of it and we're not emotionally involved with it, we definitely are subconsciously emotionally involved with the picture of the results that we're getting. So we need to get in tune or in harmony with the new picture of the new results.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like we're pre-paving, or we're raising our level of awareness of consciousness that is possible, that it's already here.
Mm-hmm.
But then, so sometimes I feel I am forcing myself to see something, or I have to set an intention and say, okay, this is what it looks like. But sometimes, and this is what I'm getting from the Facebook groups, from other peers and other workshops, is that there are also states where I believe when you're living from the end result, that the pictures just come to you. And so I just really...
I find that even better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you're getting onto the frequency.
Yeah. And so I think, I'm not sure what I had a question, but I just wanted to check. Because the way that I see it, when Bob draws all these lines and he said he puts your X, down there, down in the down the line, and then he sets the top Y, like as you go in a higher level of consciousness. I think even if we're trying to, let's say, force an image, we're just basically trying to bridge the gap, and then maybe that will take a while. Maybe it feels uncomfortable. But as we raise our level of consciousness, we suddenly find ourselves there because we're practicing giving attention and giving more energy to this new quantum possibility that is already there. And then when we are there, we don't have to force anymore. It just is. I mean, I was thinking of what you said. Energy is. So once you think of it, it already is. It's just that we need to train our X programming into the Y programming. And when we have the XY programming still active in our subconscious, we still have to, let's say, force it or give it a bit more of a push.
Je had me gebeld. Ik was even weg.
Oh, wait. let me mute that. Sorry. Where is he? There he is.
Ja?
Okay. All right.
So I hope I while I'm talking to you, I'm getting clear myself what we're doing. In the beginning, we are putting in a new Y. That's why we have to force it. It feels like forcing.
Actually, you don't have to force anything. In fact, forcing is going against the laws. So, but this is a really good question for this lesson, actually. And we will be talking about the will as well, that there is a good way to use the will, that faculty, and there's a, not so good way to use the will. Yeah, so you don't have to use force at all. If you meditate and then you just ask for what is it that I really want and your heart's desire, and then just tell yourself, I always am aware of what my heart's desire is, then that picture will come to you, and then visualization will feel so good. You don't have to look for something that will make you happy. You will just be happy with that image. I mean, for example, you've seen a man and you just saw him on the street and you go like, oh my God, oh my God. You just, you don't know why you're attracted to this person, but you just are. And same with ideas and same with goals. And it's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like let's just, for example, with New Skin, I mean, like I could imagine that what's really driving you is you love teaching people these things, you love the journey, you love, you know, being in a team, you love seeing people succeed, you love being part of that success, you know, all these things. And I mean, the money side of it, what you love is, you know, the freedom that you've got, that when you manifest stuff, like somebody tells you, come on, let's go to Bali, you get to go to Bali, you
Yeah.
know. That's yeah. And you know what you don't like in the corporate world is probably there's so much competition. That's the mentality, the type of things that people think there, because it's scarcity thinking, because there's only one position for CEO or whatever, major manager, blah blah. And with network marketing, you can shoot to your star and you just choose the star you want to choose at, and there's nobody getting into your way because there's no competition.
Yeah. Well, actually, sometimes they say you need to visualize, but I'm very pretty sure that even without visualization, your paradigm, because even if you don't have a picture, your basic predominant paradigm will manifest. So, so you don't need to be very visual. You can also be very kinesthetic, or you can just give energy to the written word. I think it's the idea that counts.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I was going to say today that visualization, to me, isn't necessarily just seeing it in your mind's eye. It's also, writing things down in a story, because it's about, bottom line is we have to feel the feeling of it. And how we get there is up to us. And for example, so Guy was asking me, how do you visualize? Like, what do you do to get into, whatever state? And I said, well, I love writing, but I cannot script because my thoughts are so fast. I cannot keep up writing. So what I do is bullet points, and that's the way I do it.
Okay. Yeah. So everybody's different.
Absolutely. And even for example, okay, so what you really want is a feeling. And I'm telling, to me, okay, I don't always want to have wait, how do I explain it? Let me just think about it. Sometimes I choose, that's a better way to say it, I choose to just feel into a feeling that I want to feel.
Yeah.
And then let the picture come in. You've heard me say before, probably, that I said I would just write down 50 times fun. And yesterday, for example, I have a son that hates to go shopping. It's like in his paradigm that as soon as he thinks about shopping, his smile disappears. And and I said to him, don't you like exploring? And he goes like, what's there to explore? You just go from shop to shop, try things on, and then go out again. So yeah. And I was just like, oh my God, fun. I was just like, I don't know how, but just fun. And then we went to the Tesla, and oh my God, like, you can ask Guy, he just changed his energy. He just jumped a few notches high and went into the car, and he was in his element, and he was happy again. So yeah. I don't even remember why we got to that story, but anyway. Okay. Are you clearer now? You probably answered your own question in your head while talking.
Yeah, and I just want to hear what you have to say about the will, because definitely, we use our will in so many conditioned ways, and we have to understand what it is, what the will is, and how we can utilize it more effectively.
Okay, great. So I'm going to be talking about the will in a while. So if there's anything else you want to add or ask, just ask me then. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, welcome. Bye. Okay, does anyone else have a question? Okay, if there are no more questions, let's talk about the live stream highlights. I think Adam watched it, Biani watched it.
Hildy?
Yeah?
Are you going to answer my question later on?
So what's your question?
It was about the persistence from the live stream.
Okay, I remember.
Want to do that later, or?
Yeah, so let's talk about the live stream highlights, because that was about the live stream anyway, okay? Okay, cool. Okay, so Adam watched it, Biani watched it, Danny watched it. Mary watched it. Joanne watched it, I think. So anybody else who watched it? I don't know. So tell me, what were your highlights of the live stream? Adam, how about you start?
Yeah, sure. For me, I watched about like 75% of it. My favorite part is usually always the same. It just keeps reinforcing, and it's
The
all
what?
about
Sorry,
the.
I didn't understand that. The what, Adam?
My favorite part is usually always on the last day when Bob talks about the M1, M2, and M3, how to earn money. And why I love that is because it just keeps reinforcing in my mind to rewrite my paradigm about leverage, like leveraging myself, leveraging anything that I have at my disposal in order to give value to people, for customers, clients, friends, family. It doesn't matter, and that's why. Yeah, I think that's usually the part that always shocks me, and it's like, yeah, I always love that part.
Is there anything that you understood differently this time that you watched it? Or did you just feel differently about it?
I wouldn't say just. I always feel happy, and I always feel reinforced. So, it's like the building blocks are there, and every single paradigm shift that I've watched, which is about, I think, 3 or 4 already, it's just getting reinforced and reinforced and reinforced, and gain a better understanding. It's not like changing the view or changing the point of view. There are some, but usually those are minor examples, which I probably could not recall now. But the majority is like, yeah, okay, I'm on the right track, and I'm getting reinforced through the seminar.
Cool. So your belief is being strengthened, which then again will result to better manifested results, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're more excited.
Yeah.
Because
For
your
example,
belief. Yeah.
Yeah. For example, I'm rebranding my whole website because the old name is just no longer serves the purpose that I'm feeling inside it should be representing. And for that part, I've just opened like 4 or 5 different services where I'm leveraging others people's knowledge, and actually they do the service. I just bring the clients, and that part as well is I'm just getting reinforced that it doesn't matter where I am. I can be on top of Himalaya. I can do business in all the countries. And that's also getting, for example, reinforced, especially now that I have rebranded the website, that no matter where I am, I can just do business with literally anybody.
Cool. Nice. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for
You're
sharing.
welcome.
Anybody else want to share?
Mary.
Hi. You watched the whole thing, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I camped out in my bedroom from Friday to the Sunday, and oh my God, how amazing was that? It was, as you can probably sound in my energy, loved it, absolutely loved it. All of it. There was loads and loads of scribbled everything, all over the place. Total different person from after this weekend. Full of energy.
We can feel and hear that.
Yeah, honestly, total different person. And obviously I spoke with you, I left you a message on WhatsApp, and I think it was on Sunday. At one point I was crying, and I'm like, oh my God, why am I crying? And I think it was when Bob at one point was singing, and I'm like, and it wasn't because of his voice or anything, and it was just, I was crying for no apparent reason. And Jack, my son, he come in, he's like, Mum, are you all right? I'm like, yeah, weird feeling, but I'm crying, but there's got to be a good thing for it. And it was just phenomenal. Loved it. Again, we did a call with Guy on Monday morning, and he asked, we were listening to this tape, and it was like, we've got a ha-ha moment. And I couldn't, because my sponge was that full. My brain was that full with everything that I'd learned over the weekend. And I loved it. There was one thing that stuck out.
That's a good thing that you recognize that, you realize that when you're full, you gotta use the information and live it so that you can that's how you create space to learn more.
Because it was on Monday when I was listening to it, and I was thinking none of this is going in, and I'm going to honestly have to say to Guy, I don't know, because I can't take any more in. He says open my mind, and it's open, but it's full. And it was. But one thing they did, there's loads of things that stuck out for me at the weekend. It was fit with the understanding, and it says the Y and the X don't mix. Okay, now that was on the Saturday, and it was going around the thingy of the film, the short film of Carjack. And I related to this quite a lot, actually, and this changed me in a big, big way this weekend, because I always think very little of myself, and I'm always dead worried about what other people think, and you wouldn't think it. I thought you wouldn't think it, but it was just like I was hiding behind this person. I'm always worried what people think, or because I've struggled with writing and spellings, and I feel like I'm not clever enough as like the rest of the team. And it was a big thing for me. It's like a big paradigm for me, and I always feel dead low, and I don't think I'm good enough. But do you know what? With the paradigms, it's like jump. That's it. Done. Burn the bridge. I'm not bothered. I am who I am. Okay. And I'm not afraid of making an error, and I'm not going to be afraid of making an error, because I learn from.
Mary, and also not the ones that are the brightest get the best results. It's the one who have the right who has the right paradigms, right?
Yeah, no, definitely it is, because I've learned that this weekend, but I didn't before, because I always thought, oh, you've got to be dead clever, and you've got to be dead this, and you've got to be dead that. And Bob said over the weekend, you don't have to have any. You come from nothing. Bob come from nothing. He went to school for 3 months, and look where he is today. It's open your mind and understand it, and it's not hard. And it's like yesterday, again, because at the moment I can't get enough of this information. I listened to, I know we shouldn't do, but I listened to it all over again on Fridays. And yesterday I listened to Friday again all day.
Oh, we should. You said we shouldn't. We should. We definitely should.
I know we should, but my head was like boom, and then I left you a message again saying like, oh my God, I can't believe I've done it. I've listened to it all again and again. It's like there was this stick person. I looked at the stick person, and I'm loading the dishwasher, and I'm like, is it really that simple? How come you didn't see it? Now, if anyone could see me, they think, I think she needs to go in a padded cell. But I didn't. It's like, oh my God. All right. And
you know, that the stick person is lesson 4. And whenever I feel like I'm trying to do something and it's a struggle, I watch lesson 4 and remind myself it's so easy. It's really easy.
It is, but I didn't realise. It didn't twig till yesterday, and I'm thinking, no way is it that easy. And that's why I've said to you, I can't believe it's that easy, Hildy. Sorry, I'm even shouting. I'm just a bit excited with all this energy that I've got inside me.
All right.
It was lovely. And what was it? There was another one. It's not who you are that holds you back, it's who you think you're not. And that's my thing I'm taking away that weekend, from that weekend. Just do it. And I'm not bothered. I've got my goal. I found my goal this weekend. And I woke up this morning, biggest smile. God knows I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I know I'm going to do it. And I can't wait to do it, because it's about the growth. It's about, it's how I'm going to do it. I'm so looking forward to it.
Oh my gosh, your energy is so contagious. Awesome.
I love it.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'm a little bit aware of the time. It's 11:30. So next week we're going to have another Q&A. So let's talk about it next week when all of us, or we have been able to watch more of the live stream. But Guy, you had a question, right, about this 3 guys that Bob asked to read the persistence chapter, and then like they made quantum leaps reading that chapter, right? Danny?
Exactly.
Yeah. So your question was why do I think they made such a quantum leap?
Yeah. What is what's going on inside their subconscious mind,
okay.
and all of the whole process.
Okay, so first of all, the persistence chapter, it has brilliant information. And through the repetition of reading it, it just gets into the subconscious mind. And when you're being persistent, actually, you even said that when you read the persistence chapter, I think today and yesterday, you thought about that chapter all day long. So it's really, you're focusing, right? And when you're focusing, wait, let me just, wait, there. So when you're focusing, you get what you focus on, right? And when you focus on something, law of attraction brings more of the same to you. So if you, for example, are reading the persistence chapter and you're doing that every day, and you're even sacrificing, so to speak, well, it's not a sacrifice for you to wake up at 5:30. I think it would be for me, but wake up that early just to read it. You are putting loads and loads and loads of energy into what it is that you desire, because you're showing the universe that I really want this, because I'm willing to do this. So there's just so much more focus, and also the mastermind part of it, because there are 3 of you. And then the part of it that, you're reading it with your eyes, but you're also listening to it, because there are 3 of you reading it. Because the way it works, for those who do not know, 1 is reading it out loud and 2 are reading it with their eyes on the page. And then they say pass, and then the other person reads out loud, and then the other 2 read it with their eyes. So those are 2 channels that are being used, getting it to into your mind. So it's so much more focused than if you're just listening to something and you're looking at something else, or if you're reading something and you're hearing something else. So those are some of the things that that I would say causes these quantum leaps if you read the persistence chapter every morning. Alrighty?
Thank you.
Welcome.
Love it. Loving it.
Thanks. All right, let's go to lesson 5. I will be talking fast, okay? Because of the time. Okay, so change your paradigms and you will change the way you create results. So we were talking about this, Mary, right? It's that simple. Oh my God, it's not about what you know, who you know, whatever, It's just change your paradigms. And there are just 2 ways to change your paradigms, as we know. It is an emotional impact, which the weekend gave, as we can feel and hear from Mary, and conscious-based repetition. All right. So the question is, are your results causing your thinking, or is your thinking causing your results? That is such an extremely important question to ask yourself. Always, 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 always. Are your results causing your thinking, or is your thinking causing your results? So if we want to change our results, it has to be the second one. Okay, so we've been programmed to live from the outside in. That's the way we've been programmed. We see things, we smell things, touch, taste, and hear things. Now, the reason why we think that, the outside, we have to live from the outside in, is because when we came into this world, things were already manifested. That's one of the reasons why we think from the outside in. And then we do not have parents or people to tell us how to live from the inside out. So we just continue on thinking that. Okay, so lesson 5 teaches us that we have a mental toolbox. And the toolbox, I've put a toolbox here. Imagine if you had to put up an IKEA bed and you didn't have tools. Even, how are you going to do it? You're not going to be able to do it. So the same with our thoughts and our ideas. We need mental tools, and we have to use these tools to be able to see it in our manifested world. So what are our mental tools? Those are the 6 mental faculties. 1 is perception. It is our point of view. The second one is imagination. It creates fantasies. Intuition's number 3, picks up vibrations and translates those vibrations. The will gives us the ability to hold one picture on the screen of our minds to the exclusion of all outside distractions. Memory is the faculty by which the mind stores and remembers information. There is no such thing as a bad memory. And reason gives you the ability to think. So these are the 6. It is our thoughts that will determine our results. again, I mean, like, we are all human beings, or spiritual beings in a physical body, to be exact, but we have all the same capabilities. Now, you could say, oh, that's not quite true. Someone plays the piano better than somebody else. Well, there's a reason for that, because that person probably has a bigger desire than somebody else. I mean, we can have anything we want, but do you really want to walk on a line? How do you, the thing that you can walk on over mountains? You know, do you really want to balance there? Well, you may be capable of doing it, but there's no desire probably. So it really boils down to, what do we really, really want? And not in our conscious mind, not what we think we want, but really from the heart. So this is what happens when we use our senses. We have results. The kind of body that we are in right now, the kind of money we earn, and how the money flows, and if there's more left at the end of the month or less, or it's too little at the end of the month. So all our results, it doesn't matter, our relationships with our spouses, parents, children, business partners, all our results, okay? Or how our house looks like. Is it messy or not? Or everything is a result. We all have results in all areas. Okay, so this is what happens when we use our senses. We have these results, and then we think, because we see those results, okay? The grades of our kids on the report card, for example. And these thoughts then causes feelings. And these feelings then causes the actions that we do. So what happens is we get the same results. And this is when we're reacting. And Bob at the live stream was teaching about the 7 levels of consciousness, the lowest being fight or flight, which is reacting, and is animalistic. All animals have this. So we kind of reduce ourselves to being animals if we are reacting. So in this case, the situation is in control of you. But what we really want to do is to be in control of the situation, right? And this is the other side. This is what happens when we use our mental faculties. We create new thoughts. This is what I really, really want. And then we feel, because the thoughts are connected to feelings. Now, of course, we have to make sure that while we're thinking that thought, we're feeling good about it. Because if we're thinking a thought and we're feeling bad about it, we're not getting what we're wanting. We're getting what we're not wanting. So we have to create thoughts that make us feel good, or think thoughts and then find a way to feel good about those thoughts. So we have these new thoughts that we're shooting at or aiming for, and we create these feelings. You find a way to feel good about it, and that's using the mental tools and knowing about how the process works. And these then causes our actions, which then causes new results to happen. And that's how we grow. That's how life gets better and better and better, because we just keep on using this process. So we create something new with it. This is when we're responding. In the 7 levels of awareness, it's on the top. It's number 7. So we're now in control of the situation if we use it this way. So Thomas Edison said, whether you think you can or you can't, either way, you're right. Now, a lot of people are saying, but I always thought I can. I mean, I can. But it's not the thinking alone in the conscious mind. It's the subconscious thinking and believing. So key points. We have been gifted with higher mental faculties. So those 6 that I just mentioned. It is our responsibility to learn how to utilize and develop these higher faculties to a greater degree, because nobody else can do it for us, and nobody's going to do it for us. Okay, so these are mental muscles. If you look at the picture on the right, strong and weak muscles, I mean, who do you think is going to win here? So we got to develop these mental muscles to the best of our ability and just make them stronger, stronger, and stronger. Okay, know what is happening around you, okay, but be in control of what is happening within you. Okay, I have a recent story to tell about this. For example, my kids now flew from Düsseldorf, Germany, to London Heathrow. And because Carl is not 12 yet, he's not allowed to fly alone. So it was so difficult to find an airline who would do this. And when I booked Lufthansa, the only way that they could fly here was to fly from Düsseldorf to Frankfurt and then to Heathrow, London. So they had to transit. And then, so my previous husband sent me a text message, a little bit angry, saying, the police just called. They're not allowed to fly alone. And instantaneously, I felt a dip in my vibration. I was so excited about the kids. I felt a dip. And I was like, what the hell's going on here? I mean, what do I have? What am I believing that made that dip? Is it because I care about what he thinks about me? Is it, what is it? So I was thinking about different things. And then I thought, oh my goodness, yes, it feels to me like, I think what I'm feeling right now is that I'm being such a bad mother. Like, how could I have created that I'm being irresponsible? And then, so I used my reasoning factor, and Guy helped me with it as well, of how amazing of a mother I am. And I was thinking to myself, look, it may be unusual that kids their age fly alone, but I've always believed that they can. You know, I am empowering them. So I started changing the thoughts I had with it. And I love knowing that there are different perceptions, because even though that was the perception of my previous husband, when I talked to the kids about it, because I wanted to know how they felt about the whole situation, I was hoping they wouldn't feel bad. And they had a totally different perception about it. They said, oh, we had VIP, status. They called us in, we could sit there where nobody else was sitting. They were all in a line, but we were VIP because they were taking care of us, And I was like, oh my God, they're just so, we can really be sure that it does not matter what's going on around us. We can still be in control of what's happening within us. So I love that, what I learned from that. So we are programmed to live from the outside in. That programming causes a tendency for us to become the plaything for the outside forces. Now, in that situation, I really had the power to either feel bad about it, and I was so excited about the kids leading up to the kids coming here every day. I was like, they're coming, and make that one moment ruin my excitement, or, choose to find the better feeling thoughts. Okay, so we should observe and be aware of what is going on in our outside world, but we are capable of creating our world with our higher faculties, not just accepting our current conditions and circumstance. Objectively observe what is going on in your outside world, but don't let it control your thinking. So think thoughts that will create the idea of what you want. Thoughts become things. If you see it in your mind, you will hold it in your hand. And as we talked about it, Angelique, it's not always about seeing it in the mind through visualization. It's also about just writing things down or having a vision board, for example. So you consciously observe the new result, you mentally adopt the new results, and immediately begin to think the thoughts that create the idea of how to improve upon it. That is how you stay in charge of you. Don't let the outside world control you. You control the outside world. So Napoleon Hill said, an educated person is not necessarily one who has an abundance of general or specialized knowledge. An educated person is one who has so developed the faculties of their mind that they may acquire anything they want or its equivalent without violating the rights of others. I love this. I really love this. Without violating the rights of others. So let's talk about the first one, perception. This is a classic, half full, half empty. I also like this one because we could all be looking at the same thing and see something else, like something so completely different. One person saying, oh, it's a fan, and another one saying, oh, it's a rope. I mean, like, how different are they from each other? Or it's a spear, it's a snake, it's a trunk, it's a wall. It's just so completely different, but they didn't even get the whole picture. It's an elephant. Okay, so, oh, by the way, I just had this download that if you connect with source, you will always see the whole picture. You may not see it in your eyes, but you will feel it, that you feel the whole picture, that you're totally on the right path. Okay, so here's another picture. He's saying that's a 6 and that's a 9. It's a matter of perception, right? And this is the curious thing about the universe. When two people are talking and they're so sure about what they see or what they know, that's because the law of attraction brings to that person evidence of what they believe. So that's why everybody's right. So if you're having an argument with somebody about something, just think about it. Remember that they're right too in their world, because the law of attraction, the universe, is bringing them what they believe to be true. This apparently went viral on the internet, and some saw it as gold white and some saw it as blue and black. And both groups were very sure about what they saw. I don't know what you guys see. I see gold and white. Okay, so another perception, cultural perception. So this girl here says, everything covered but her eyes, what a cruel male-dominated culture. And here, this person is thinking the same thing. Nothing covered but her eyes, what a cruel male-dominated culture. It's just a matter of perception. So don't give attention to what went wrong. Focus on what went right and watch the tide turn. You have no idea how good life can be. I like that. Just give your attention to what's going right. What do you see? If you see anything but a person reading, you have a dirty mind. I just thought this was funny, so I just added it there. Okay, so imagination. Let's talk about imagination. So logic will get you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere. So the reason why logic will get you from A to B only is because your paradigms control your logic. Okay, but with imagination, you can go beyond. Everything is built through imagination. So the books that were written, like Harry Potter, it all started in the imagination. Or the Eiffel Tower, everything that we see, or planes. Thanks to the Wright brothers, they got us off the ground for a couple of seconds, and now we've got this bar in first class in Emirates. And money is made with an idea. It's ideas that make money. So Frozen, for example, these two girls are known to be the richest princesses in the Disney world. It's incredible. Like, somebody had the idea of the story, and everything that is being made money-wise out of this story, it's phenomenal. It's incredible. You have a film, you have the merchandise, and you even have this film translated into more than 20 languages. Wow, it's really fascinating. I'll post a video of Let It Go, the song in that Disney movie. And you can listen to it, because all 20 plus, I think 25 languages are being sung. Like, wow, it's just endless how much money can be earned by a single idea. Okay, understand that imagination is real. Some of you have heard the story already, but it is a very powerful one. So there was this guy, he was inside this truck, and all of a sudden, a freezer truck, and all of a sudden the door closed. And he panicked. He was knocking at the door. He was shouting. He was trying to get out. And his mind was saying, oh my God, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. Anyway, to cut a long story short, this guy actually died because he thought he would freeze to death. And when they found them dead the next day, they were puzzled because the freezer truck wasn't working for a couple of days. So it didn't even have the temperature that would make him die. So it was just all in his head. It was all in his mind, because he thought it was so cold he was going to freeze to death. He did. So imagination. You must imagine yourself in the state of your fulfilled desire. You have to be in the middle of it. What does that mean? For example, Carl yesterday when we were at the Tesla, he said, you got to close the door because, you know, the doors are closed when you're driving a car. So you got to be there. You have to act like it already is, and to the detail that you can think of. So your choices of action may be limited, but your choices of thought are not. This is where imagination comes in. So just going back to imagination, you have to imagine, for example, if you want to be team elite and earning a certain amount of money, okay, and let's just say you go into a Louis Vuitton place and shop, and there's this bag for 30,000. You cannot say, I cannot afford that. You have to go in there with the, you know, vibrating that as if I wanted that, I could buy it, you know, like, so you're not really going to buy it because obviously, let's just say, even if you pulled your cards together, let's just say it's a scenario, you pulled all your credit cards together, you still couldn't buy it, but you could still go in there with the vibration of, yeah, I could have that if I wanted it, but I don't really want it, you know, so, but you can still go there in a vibration that you can have it. And Guy has been playing this game, the one that we talked about last week, where on the first day you have 1,000, and then to spend vibrationally 1,000, whatever currency you're using right now, and then add another 1,000 for the second day, so you have 2,000 to spend on the third day, and add another 1,000. So on the third day you have 3,000 to spend. On the fourth day, 4,000. On the fifth day, 5,000. So even though nothing has changed with your circumstances, but because vibrationally you get to spend that money, and he's having a lot of fun, you know, spending that money on all sorts of things. I think today he spent it on a trip to Cambodia for 4, I think. And since it's just for 4, he said to Jarek that Jarek's going to take care of Aliza.
That was yesterday. So today we're going on
yesterday.
the Abraham cruise.
Oh.
We're going on in the Royal Suite on the Abraham cruise in March. So who wants to join us?
Perfect. I love that. Thank you for spending the money on us. And yesterday, and this is about the will, okay? Yesterday, Natalie, because she wants to have a MacBook Air, and she also wants to have an iPhone 8. And I swear to you, the focus that she's got, okay, so we'll talk about the will, okay? Bob talks about focus on one thing, like a candle or a dot on the wall. And if you can focus on one thing, you can focus on anything. And Natalie really showed us yesterday the type of focus that she's having. It's like anything and everything, almost everything we talk about, she always brings it back to her iPhone and to her MacBook. For example, I told him, you gotta eat my favorite burgers, you gotta try it, you know, Five Guys. So he ate at Five Guys, and there were tomatoes in there. And she put the tomatoes to the side because she does not like tomatoes at all, right? And then Guy said, what about the tomatoes? And I just jokingly said, oh, she's saving the best for last, you know? Guy knows that she doesn't like tomatoes because I told him that. And then so Natalie said, oh, Mom, actually, I'm doing a trade. You can have the tomatoes, and you know how much I love them, and you'll just get me a MacBook Air. or in the bus, she said, Mom, you love seeing me happy, right? I go, so get me a MacBook Air. I'll be happy. I swear to you guys, like we have like at least 8 to 10 stories like that where she always goes back to her MacBook Air. For example, another thing that happened was that so Guy had his MacBook, and for some reason the sound is not working properly. And I said to him, I think you need a new MacBook. And Natalie's eyes went really big and said, yes, and I can have that one. You know, so it was so much fun to learn from the kids. Okay, so Henry Ford, obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off of your goal. So you know, if you have a goal, you have something that you're excited about, something that you want, you just don't see obstacles, and they're not frightful. You're having a happy life. This story, I love this one as well. This is so powerful. some of you have heard it already because I always bring it up for lesson 5. So how did John Rockefeller actually accumulate this much money? I mean, this is what it's equivalent of today, okay? 340 billion. And so he was being asked that question on an interview, and he said, my secret, I can focus all of my mind in one direction for 5 minutes. Now, if you guys have tried that, you'll know how difficult that is. Just try it. I won't say more about that. Okay, so the will to succeed. I will post a YouTube video of Bob about the will to succeed because we don't have time today. You cannot control circumstances. You never intended to control circumstances. You intended to discover unconditional love. Okay, so you intended to discover a way to feel good no matter what, because you have the facility. You have the power. You have the ability to focus. Now, with knowing the mental tools as Bob teaches them, we have no excuse. If we don't get what we want, it's not anybody else's fault but ours, because we've got the tools. Some people out there have no freaking idea, but we've got the tools, so we have no excuse. Imagination and will. By visualizing your goal already completed, you flip your mind onto the frequency that contains the way that it will be attracted to you. So 99% is thinking, as Kevin would say, and 1% to doing. So we got to flip our minds using imagination and will to get into that frequency of the desire already fulfilled. And then everything that we need to do and know and will be attracted to us. We'll just know. And take a look at your favorite person. Give that person the mood you would like that person to have. So I just added this because even though, like, what I do, I mean, if a person doesn't serve me, I just say goodbye. But there are just some people in our lives that kind of will stay in our lives because we're related to them. So this is a way to go about it energetically. Bruce Lee said, a successful warrior is the average man, so meaning everybody, with laser-like focus. But the only way that we get to focus on something like laser-like focus is if we love it, if we really want it with all our hearts, not with our minds, but with our hearts. Okay, intuition. It gives us the ability to pick up another person's mood, thoughts, vibrations, and feelings. Okay, so let's talk about intuition. The definition of it: the ability to understand something instinctively without the need for conscious reasoning. A thing that one knows or considers likely from instinctive feeling rather than conscious reasoning. Okay, intuition are feelings and not thoughts. Okay, we gotta trust our intuition. When we think of something, do not try to, reason with it with your reasoning. Just trust it. This is one more thing. Everybody has it. So you've got it definitely too. And pay attention to it. And you will know by the way you feel. So intuition is a mental faculty that you can use to go to the spiritual side of your personality. And the spiritual side of your personality is also the universal side of your personality. Okay, intuition or fear. You've got to get quiet, like really quiet with your mind, and relax. Deep breathing. Ask the answer to come to you and then trust that it will come. This is a process that you can use with your intuition, okay? And with your intuition, it always tells you to do something, to go somewhere, okay? It never tries to protect you from anything. If you have that feeling of you need to protect yourself, then it's fear. If you have this feeling that you want to go for it, you have got to go for it, then it's your intuition. Okay, the intuitive mind.
Hildy, sorry.
Yeah?
We were talking about this, I think it was with Mary, just on a call the other day. That apparently Bob said that there's always fear, or was that you, Mary, that was talking about that on Monday.
Sorry.
I think it was.
What?
Was it you that was mentioning it on the paradigm shift that Bob was saying something about fear, about how there's always going to be fear, or
Yeah, fear does not go away. Bob said over the weekend that it never goes away.
I don't completely agree with that, because
Right.
no, because, well, okay, if for example, because you get to choose what you put into your subconscious mind, but this is what I believe, okay? I just want to tell you what I believe. And
Okay.
if you put into your subconscious mind things like, and you really understand that you are an extension, you are a spiritual being, and you are actually God, in the sense that you are the center of your universe and you get to create anything you want and you know how, and that spirit is always for positivity and everything that's happening to you is for the good, and there are just certain things that you can plant into your subconscious mind that will empower you so much that you don't have to fear anything. So the reason why you fear something is, for example, you set yourself let's just say the subconscious programming that you put into your mind is, I'm making, let's just say 100,000 a month, okay? And then you want to go to 5 million a month. That kind of scares you. But if you've programmed your subconscious mind with the truth, which is you can have anything you want, and it's easy, and all you got to do is program it into your mind, then you get to relax. You're not afraid anymore. You know there is a process. And then when you know that you've created everything in your life, no matter how it looks like right now, and you take responsibility for that, you know that you can just change the programming in your subconscious mind. Well, I don't completely agree with that. So even, we were talking to this person just recently, a couple of days ago, and it seems like we are being controlled, let's say, for example, by the government with paying tax, etc. The only reason they have control over us is because we allow them to. But if we showed them that we know that we are a spiritual being, for example, she gave an example, like she was in court and the guy, the judge, I think you call it in English, said, sit down. And then she said, I, and then her name, being a spiritual being, now choose to sit down if I may, or something like that. I can't remember the exact words. She was showing, whatever, that she knew about it, that nobody can actually go against a person's free will. So, okay, does that make sense? So nobody can create for you. So when we're in trouble, it's or if we allow them to control us, it's because we allow them to control us, not because they actually have control over us. So it's not a law, not a universal law, that they have power over us. It's a legislation. Okay, does that make sense? Is that clear? And so that's the reason why I don't think we don't need to be afraid about anything. And even I was thinking before, even if I landed in jail for whatever reason, I've still got my mind. Look at Mandela, like what he created. It was a gift. Actually, Kevin is saying the same thing. He's, he has never been better. He's loving his life because all he does is think, and he'll come out there. And he was already saying through some letters that he wrote that when I get out here, I'm going to teach you stuff you've never seen before, because right now he's so focused on downloading stuff and understanding things better. So yeah. Okay, I hope that answers your question. I am aware of the time, but whoever has to go can go, and I'll just finish this and you can just listen to the recording. Okay? Because I don't really want to finish here. Guy, could you please check the chat box if there's anything that I need to know, if there's a question or something. Okay? And tell me later. Thanks.
Yep.
Okay. So memory. okay, memory is not just about something in the past. Let's create future memories. So this is what happened, for example. So I've been visualizing and therefore creating future memories of Natalie and Carl being in London. And it was incredible because right now, I mean, even though they've never been here ever, right now they've only been here, I don't know, 2 or 3 days. And it feels like they've always been here because I've been there in my mind. So when you're trying to remember something, don't stare at the blank paper. Put the pen down and look up. So you just try it if you're trying to remember something. That always works for me. Okay, so reason. It gives us the ability to think. And it always think pro you. Whenever you are using your reasoning factor, never against you, always pro you. Always stay on the positive side of the law of polarity. So law of polarity states that there's always an opposite to it. Hot, cold, outside, inside. And always stay on the positive side of the polarity. Always think about how things can be done and never how it can't be done. Okay, react or respond. I have no idea why I put that slide here. I can't remember. Okay, I'll just talk about react or respond. So as I said, we react. When we react, it's like we're being an animal, meaning we don't think. But if we respond, what we're doing is if somebody's saying something to us and we use that split second to really think about and choose what we want to think about what he just said, or how we are going to verbalize what it is that we're thinking. So we're responding. The difference is just that millisecond of choosing to either, if somebody said, hey, you jackass, and like, you're worse than me, then it just escalates. You when somebody says that, you can actually remove the wind from the sail. So you see that with kids a lot when they try to, for example, when they're like bored and they try to just to keep something going, they how do you say it in English? They just say something to each other to aggravate the other a little bit. And so, but if both do it, then it's fun for the one who started it. But if the one who is being, so to speak, attacked just doesn't care and just leaves the other be, and whatever you say, then it's the other person's just going to stop because it's not fun anymore. So you can use this on any scale, not just with kids with small things, even big things, big things. Okay, so remember, we always have a choice. Our physical results do not have to dictate what we're getting in the future. Again, our physical results right now, what you have right now, do not have to dictate what we're getting in the future. And it also does not dictate of how long it will take for us to get what we want, because the past has absolutely nothing to do with the future or with the present. We can think into the results that we want. Okay, so the goal achieving process has to do with the laws of the universe. That is the universal side of your mind. Use the mental faculties that we've got here. Plus, take action, and what it'll result to is the creative process will take care of everything else. Now, that's all you got to do. Use the mental faculties, feel good about whatever it is you're doing, take action, feeling good, and then everything will come to you. All right, so anybody have a question or comment? Because that's my last slide. Ooh, Angelique, thank you for the information about the student discount. I love that.
Yeah, I think it could be 20% or 10%. I don't know. You have to find out. Definitely it's in the UK, I know.
Wow, thank you. All right. So anybody else?
Yeah, I have a question about. Hi, Rob here. About next weekend. What is the time we all going to meet? Because I am searching for the tickets, and Need to be sure about it.
Ah, okay. And we're meeting for lunch, so I don't know. Mariam or Annie are not here right now on the call, I think. But you know what? I'll put it on our chat. Okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay.
Hildy.
Perfect. Thank
Perfect.
you.
Thank you too.
All right. Okay. So if nobody else has a question or anything, we'll wrap it up. Bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Goodbye from Eliza.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Ciao. Okay.